Mark was laying in a hospital bed, hearing the beeping constantly moving by. He hadn't been here by choice, but he had been here nevertheless. He opened his eyes. The walls were white. The room was rather welcoming in a sense. It didn't set his mind at ease, that was for sure. However, it did bring some comfort to knowing that he was in a rather recognizable area, seeing it was probably built by people. In the realm of Garry's mod, Garry had sent him off on a quest, so to speak. He would never return to the land of the construct, or Flatgrass, or Big City, or any of the other maps across his realm. He would be staying here. But Garry did give him but a good portion of his strength, allowing him to do things that many would not, or many could not. The room was different. It just felt off. No matter what he thought, he just couldn't think of anything, how to explain it, but the room was weird, to say the least. However, he wasn't downcast by the idea. He had looked around the room. The walls were white, and he was hooked up to an IV that was gently dripping down. He had heard the soft wind blowing outside, setting his mind and soul at ease, until he turned to his right and saw a smiling alicorn staring directly at him. He nearly jumped out of his bed until he realized it was a pony. He would not have to worry. Immediately he realized the pony was sapient, that it was of higher brain function, and knew that it probably possessed the abilities to speak vocally. After all, he had seen many crazy things, such as stalkers, zombies, and many other things in his lifetime. The alicorn that was looking at him said, "Oh, you're awake. I've been waiting for you. I've told my friends, and they should be getting here anytime soon. It'll give us a chance to talk. I wanted to approach you from a different stance. Now, we've seen humans in Equestria before, because Anon is one of the humans we've met, and he's often Canterlot business such. So we know how to handle humans better now." He raised an eyebrow. Humans. So, humans must be a rarity in this world or whatever. He wouldn't have to worry much, though. He stared at her and said, "Look, what's your name? Let's start with that." "Well, my name is Twilight Sparkle. What's yours?" "Well, my name is Mark." "Nice to meet you, Mark. I'm the Princess of Friendship, and and personal student and protege of Princess Celestia. Now, I know you're lost and scared, but that's perfectly normal. He says, I guess. He gently pushes himself up, and she says, where are you going? You shouldn't leave, you're hurt. He looks at her and says, I've been through much, much worse. I just want to step outside. You're more than welcome to come with me. As he walked through the hospital, many of the ponies were looking at him, not out of fear, but out of curiosity, surprise, and kind of a welcoming look. Before they could say anything, he left the hospital, Twilight following right after. Whilst they were walking, she said, so, yeah, you fell from the sky. Want to talk about that? He raised an eyebrow and said, no, not really. I'm willing to talk about many things, but not that. I'll have to trust you. We'll wait until I can trust you more. So, why don't we go back to where you live and we'll start from there? She said, sure. She gently wrapped her hooves around his leg, and a bright flash overtook his vision, and he was inside of a treehouse. He was slightly dazed. Sure, he had teleported many times before. He would admit to it later, but he never really wanted to show it. He'd never experienced a flash. Just his body would very quickly phase out and phase into the next location. When he was there, she was sitting. And then he sat down too. He began tapping his foot as Twilight ran off and had gotten some tea and him some coffee. She simply said, I didn't know what you like, so if you want you can have this coffee, or if you want I can switch out and you can have this tea and I can have the coffee. And it's quite alright, Twilight. This is all just so fast. I mean, welcomed into this society with honestly no prejudice, but I guess I can understand, as there has been another human in this land before. But I appreciate your welcoming hands, or welcoming hooves, or whatever. Well, look, Twilight, I really appreciate all of this, but, why am I here? Is there something you wanted to talk about? Why, yes, of course. You see, Anon was the first human to pop up in Equestria. He popped up about 3 months ago. In the new pop-up, we've learned so much about Anon, but there's only so much knowledge that he's carried. What about you? I'd like to know so much. And before you say anything, don't worry. Just say every detail, down to the very last mark, she said, pulling out some notebook paper. He thought, fuck, it's one of these people, or ponies in this case. The ones who are willing to listen to every single little itty bit of detail and constantly keep writing. For him, didn't really mind. He'd always be waiting to share some of the more fucked up shit that he's been through. He's killed hundreds of thousands of people. And yet he hasn't felt a single drip of regret or remorse, knowing that they're all fucked up in the head. Sure, he may have shot 1 or 2 innocent people, but hey, accidents are bound to happen, and he's accepted that and moved on. Well, Twilight, I don't know what you're expecting here. Well, start from the beginning. Who are you? My name's Mark, and we'll go with that. I was born in City 17 when the 7-hour war happened. 7-hour war? What do you mean? She said, interrupting him. The 7-hour war was whenever a great race known as the Combine had invaded our Earth, killing off hundreds of thousands and possibly even millions of our kind, enslaving us, and such and such and such. Long story short, after growing up, I became a rebel, and once the rebellion had commenced, the final pushes in City 17, I was shot by a sniper and killed. Now, pushing past that, I don't want to talk about anything else about my past, about that portion, but I'm willing to share a much more interesting portion. She knew that it was probably a heavy topic for him, so she decided to drop it. For now. Alright, well, what can you tell me about? I was resurrected, maybe. Or maybe I went to heaven, I'm not quite sure. What do you mean? A god, or something, had brought me back from the dead. His name was Garry, which was kind of funny, to be honest with you. He had brought me back. And he had told me that I would live. I would live in his image, so to speak. That I would be born to create and destroy. That I would be born to move hills and mountains in this new world. She leaned in. And then, of course, some stuff happened. Anyway, look, I'm tired, Twilight, okay? I just woke up after probably falling a decent distance out of the sky from some kind of teleport thing. I'm not quite sure. Look, I know you're all concerned, but I'm tired. I'm assuming you have a guest room somewhere upstairs, so I'm just going to go take a nap. See ya. Before she could say anything, he had walked up the stairs and closed the door. Closed his eyes to another empty, dreamless sleep.